Hey there, designers, bringing you the creating holes tutorial here in case you're getting stuck or want a little help or preview of what you're going to do here. Creating holes is an important part of designing things because when you group objects, sometimes you don't want the whole primitive shape. Instead, maybe you want to use a piece of it or make a hole in it, and that's what we're going to do in this tutorial. So we're going to learn how to remove material from another shape using the hole feature. And we've got 4 steps we're going to work through here. In the very first one, it says it wants us to drag a blue polygon shape to the work plane and place it in the area outlined in orange. So over here on the right-hand side, here are our primitive shapes. I'm going to go and find that blue polygon. Hey, it looks like that. It's kind of neat. You can see the different shapes that you can work with. And there are some really cool ones. We'll show you some more of those in a later tutorial. But I'm going to go ahead and click and drag and bring that polygon out here. And it says to place it in the area outlined in orange. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I like to spin around and zoom in on this one a little bit. So I'm going to right click. If I want to rotate, I'm going to use the scroll wheel to scroll and zoom in. And I'm going to press Shift and hold down my right click in order to move the camera over to the left. That gives me a much clearer view. If this menu area is ever in your way, you can click this little drop down arrow and get rid of it. And I'm going to go ahead and move that in now, like that. So now I've lined those things up. Did you know you can change any shape into a hole tool? Yep, you sure can. We select the polygon by left clicking it and then select the hole option in the inspector window near the upper right corner of the editor window. So here's my inspector window here. And instead of having that blue polygon be a solid object, I can now make it be a hole. And so this is where things get kind of clever and powerful, because now I've got a hole and I have a solid object. And watch what's going to happen when we combine those. Okay, we're going to group these shapes together. So we're going to group a hole with a solid object, and then what happens is we wind up with a hole in a solid object. So we're going to select both objects by pressing and holding the Shift button and then clicking on each shape. So we can click on this one, and then we can press the Shift button and then click on that one. So now I've got the wrench, soon to be wrench, and the polygon hole both selected. There's another way to select objects too. You can simply left click and drag, and you can get them selected that way as well. Now they're both selected. So, and then I'm going to hit this button up here that is called group. So when I group those together, watch what happens. This is pretty darn cool. Bam, there we go. So in a second here, if I click away, watch. That hole is being made and rendered in that object. So now, instead of having a solid polygon and an object, I'm going to wind up with a wrench with a hole in it. Okay. And there it is right there. I love these tutorials. Stars go off when everybody gets done and is successful with that. But just to remind you of the steps, you just grab a shape, pull it over here, you make it a hole, and I'm going to shrink this one up a little bit. If it's in the way, I can get rid of it. I can bring it down in there. I can make this even smaller and center it. And now, simply grab those objects and we group them. So when you group a hole and a solid object, you wind up with a hole in a solid object. Pretty neat little trick there, and you will be using that quite frequently as you're drafting things. If you are doing this to show evidence of learning, please make sure that you screenshot this page here that shows your completed object with a hole in it and your congratulations screen. All right, nice work there.